All right, and we'll get to breaking news I want to bring you right now. The Congressional Budget Office, moments ago, releasing its score on the so-called skinny Obamacare repeal bill. The bill, which would only scrap Obama's coverage mandates and medical device tax, would result in 16 million Americans losing their health insurance. Premiums would also go up roughly 20%, so projects the CBO. But what they're not thinking about, what they haven't calculated for, is that so many of those people that would be supposedly losing their insurance are actually voluntarily giving it up. Joining me right now to discuss health care, Jeff Sessions, and much, much more, Mollie Hemingway, senior editor of the Federalist and chairman of the American Conservative Union, Matt Schlapp. Matt, walk us through this, because the CBO comes out with a score, but they're not entirely forthcoming in that score, because they're presenting it as though people are actually losing their insurance as opposed to making a decision not to have insurance. That's right.
This has been consistent. It's kind of the only thing CBO's been consistent with in all of their analytics on all these Republican bills, is that there's 15 or 16 million Americans who don't want to be forced by the government to buy health care. Now, it might not be the world's most financially responsible decision, but that comes with a free society where the government can't tell you how to spend your money. And so what it really tells you is that under this, at least the skinny repeal, which, Trish, is not going to be the law of the land, it just means they go to a conference. What it really tells you is that most people would be able to find an insurance option under a Republican proposal.
All right. You agree with that, Mollie? Do you think that, and by the way, this is not going to be what ultimately happens, right?
That's right.
We should preface this all by that. So they got to come up with something better, and they've got to have the CBO score it all over again, Mollie?
Well, yeah, but CBO really does have problems. When they were judging Obamacare, they overstated how many people would be insured under it. They understated how much the cost would be. I mean, understated wildly. So we really should just make good policy decisions and not hope that CBO will do a very good job of helping us make those decisions. Now, it's important to note today that the Senate did have the opportunity to do what Republicans have promised Americans they would do for 7 years, which is repeal Obamacare. There was an opportunity to do that. Senators John McCain and Lisa Murkowski and 5 other people broke their pledge that they would repeal Obamacare if given the chance, and they didn't do so. So, yes, it looks like skinny repeal is the best we can hope for. People are just going to go vote for any amendment that they can get through. They're going to add it on there. And that actually seems like a pretty smart approach at this point.
Let me turn to Jeff Sessions. Matt, it looks increasingly as though his days might be numbered, although he has been perhaps doing a little bit more of what the president wants in the way of announcing these investigations into possible leakers, in the way of looking into what may have transpired between the Ukraine and Hillary Clinton and her campaign. Do you think it's enough to save his job, or to at least start to prop him up a little bit more in the eyes of the president? You know,
Trish, I know this has been very hard for those of us who have a high regard for Jeff Sessions and who support President Trump. I actually am more hopeful that, yes, the president's upset with some of these decisions, but getting rid of Jeff Sessions only makes them worse, because it was the deputy AG, Rod Rosenstein, who picked the special counsel without running it by Sessions first. So if Sessions were to leave DOJ, the deputy attorney general would be the acting attorney general. I don't know how that solves any of these problems. I do think the president's trying to push Jeff Sessions to get active on the other side, which is collusion with the government of Ukraine by the DNC, illegal leaks from Comey and others that have really violated the public trust and made it very hard for the Trump administration to get work done, and all these series of illegalities that Hillary Clinton was engaged in. I do think the other side of the ledger needs to be focused on, because really on the Russia question, there's just nothing substantial there.
Final thoughts to you, Mollie. Do you think the AG will survive?
I think he absolutely will survive, and I hope that President Trump understands that going after one of your most loyal supporters is really not a good way to shore up support from many people who are in the party.